My name is Lisa Hahn. I grew up here. My parents moved here the year I was born. So the granite quarries, including Halibut Point State Park quarry, was where I learned to swim, where I grew up. My mother was the one who began the quarry dances, so I brought a picture that Les had shown last night in his slide talk. And this took place literally right outside the door here in 2012. It was the birth of the quarry dances that celebrate this great place. And rock dance is I would say, when Catherine gave me this assignment, I realized that what Jonathan Bayliss has done in this passage from Gloucestertide called rock dance is give a voice to the quarry dance that's literary. My mother had done it in dance, in modern dance language with no words. And Jonathan Bayliss does it with language. Our families were really good friends. Catherine's family, Jonathan Bayliss, moved here in 1956, which is the year I was born, and that's when my parents moved here full time. So our parents were like kind of soulmates. They worked together. My mom and Jonathan were really good friends. So I come to this with a lot of passion that's very personal. So, rock dance. Walking the jumbled up shore rocks can be a dance, an absorbing, rather dangerous dance, unrolling itself and stretching out in a broken line along the land seascape. In solipsistic concentration, you leap and hop, staggering on tiptoe. You skim or flip from point to point, jagged or smooth, broken or rounded. Your footing is not a plane. The rocks give you no floor, yet you climb them with your hands and with the gulls watching from altitudes above, beside and below. Though you balance with your arms, you know better than to pretend to fly. Between every two beaches here on our stone island, between harbors and coves, wherever the land stops the sea, those tawny and fractious rocks are a jagged pathway of choices. At chaotic elevations, with footholds on irregular cusps at all angles. No step is predictable until your foot is in the air. No step is determined by habits of graceful continuity. From ledges and pinnacles, on whalebacks and whale jaws, you fling yourself across one crevasse to another in jerky motion, sideways and forward, sometimes switching back to descend a crag or traverse a tidal gorge. Sometimes down to the tongue of popples at the lower tides, always keeping above the slippery seaweed. Each imbalance is corrected by the next. In mid-air, the muscles of one leg calculate the force and direction of their reaction to the next immovable resistance and warn the muscles of the other through the levers of your pelvis without assistance from the conscious brain. It feels as if you're rapidly covering great distances. Your dazzling ways bleached by salt and sun. It's impossible to stop and think. Yet all the while, you are both spectator and center of attraction for surf below, clouds above, and boats in the offing. But those aren't the only steps we dance. We're not always careening along from rock to rock on top of them. At times we contemplate rocks themselves, sitting alongside, not in transit. And of course, not all our rocks are butted by the ocean. There's always the erratic variation of the moraine when we avoid the rocks in a path through the woods. And there are circulations like sheaves, they that dance among the stones, as Yeats puts it, when we wander in Purdyville looking for the wrasse of Tirano dog, and forgetting that we're supposed to be out for blueberries. Then too, we flee the heat and avoid the salted sunburn by swimming inside the living rock. We dive from the peaceful ledges of inverted mountains, sequestered from the restless waters, invisible to shipping boats, screened from all at the very nearest angles by quarry walls. And don't forget the motions you're likely to stumble into while witching in the woods, choked with brambles and scrub trees, the scars of Lady Gloucester's little wounds, which look like the cellar holes of crazy fairy castles. To kiss our mother, we find her bare spots and patches. But we hug her stone children too, our foster brothers and sisters all over the place. as big as our houses or as small as our stoves, still clinging to her by their own weight and loath to budge. We circle around and even climb Sinashore Rock, one of her eldest, high up on her breasts, just to tease the dogs that can't follow us up there. And don't forget her babies, little more than seeds, which might have been carried 1,000 years longer if they hadn't been delivered by the frost. All those stillborn infants piled into walls by human muscles 200 or 300 years ago are slowly now scattered again in abandoned woodlots by the same old snow and ice, a bane not precious to land speculators and presently destined for the bulldozer. Let's show the Bacchae how to violate ritual without running away to the mountains. Even as rock jumpers, with the horizon our only level and the sky our only plane, we don't need a kinetic landscape. And let the spectators see that we fling out our arms for equilibrium, not to attract attention. I leave you with an incredible visual image of the last line from that. The spectators see that we fling out our arms for equilibrium, not to attract attention. And this was Corey Dance 1.
Oh, wow.
Right here at Halibut Point, with their arms flung open like birds. And I swear, it was as if they took off into the heavens with this one gesture. And Jonathan has, for me, given voice to this. This is Corey Dance 1, which was 2012. And this was 16 years after Jonathan wrote what I just read. So the synergies between, I think, our parents is really very, very precious. But this is one of the Corey Dance books I brought for showing up. Thank you.